So, I like a big watch, but when it's big, too big. Today, I'm looking at this Parnis. To be honest, I have no idea what the model number is because it doesn't say on the website or on the case back. So for now, it's a Parnis. I got this watch because the dial seemed interesting to me. I've never had a watch with a power reserve on it. So you have the running seconds at the small subdial at 9 o'clock, and you have the power reserve dial here between the 5 and the 6. If you turn the crown here, you'll slowly start to see the hand on the power reserve making its way up. And basically, what this tells you is how much reserve is left in the mainspring. So when you take the watch off, it'll give you a rough idea of how much power is left and how long it will tick on for. There's only one position for the crown. You pull out once, this sets the time. Push it back in, and it will carry on ticking along. So there's two ways of changing the date. You can either push the hands around to 12 o'clock to get it to tick over at midnight, or secondly, there's a small push button here at the 8 o'clock position, which you can push with either a pen or a push pin tool, and that will change the date. It's not super convenient, but at the same time it's not inconvenient. It's maybe not as good as having it on the crown function. So let's take a closer look at this dial. I went for the black version. It has a black satin finish to the face. You have the railroad minute track going around the outside. This is C3 lume. And obviously at the 12, 6 and 9, you have the numbers. You have dagger style hands for the hour and minute hands. And then you just have straight baton style hands for the sub-seconds and the power reserve. To me, I think it's a really nice dial. It's got a kind of pilot watch look about it. I'm sure this watch is a homage of something, but I'm not sure what. It's probably an IWC. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. So the overall case finishing is really nice. You have horizontal brushing on the side of the case, you have circular brushing on the top edge, and then the bezel is highly polished. On the back, we have an open case back with brush finishing all the way around. There's nothing on the back here, it's pretty simplistic. The rotor has a bit of gouache decoration. But apart from that, it's pretty plain and pretty simple. If the crown has this texture on it, which makes it really easy to adjust, but it's not signed, it's completely plain. The watch came on this leather strap, which is actually pretty nice quality. It's nice and soft. No complaints about that. And then you have the signed hardware here, and it's highly polished. It has Parnis engraved on there. It has a sapphire crystal, which has got quite a lot of AR coating, which is quite impressive. But you need it on this because it's such a big surface area. With that black dial, you really need the AR coating on there. So I'm not sure if I mentioned, but this watch features a Seagull Automatic ST2530. Which I don't think you see very often, but it's been ticking along nicely, and I really like the power reserve hand and the small seconds. So let me pop this on wrist and let's see how it looks. So there's the watch on wrist. So how big do you think this watch is? 42mm, 43mm, 44mm? No, this watch is a whopping 46.5mm. Now, I know most of you are going to tremble in your boots at that size, and I think a lot of people wouldn't pull off a watch this size. But it's all down to personal preference. For me, I think it's pretty cool. I think I could rock it. I've got quite wide wrists, but I know that this case size would put a lot of people off. But I think it's a good looking watch. The leather strap is really nice, it's soft and it's comfortable. And got the clasp there, highly polished, signed with Parnis. Because the watch is so big, it's really easy to pull out the crown to adjust the time. The crown isn't screw-in, so you literally just pop it out to adjust the time and pop it back in. It's really easy legible with those big old plots of C3 loom and those dagger style hands which are also filled with C3 loom. The anti-reflective coating comes in nice, it's still really nice and legible. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So obviously the size is a negative. Well, it's a negative for some people. For some people, they're going to love the size. For me, it's not really a factor. I think the size is cool. I would try to rock it. There are a couple of things that I'd possibly change about this watch. One of them being the date window. Now, the date is written in a kind of grey tone, which makes it quite hard to see. And there isn't a cyclops, and I don't know if there's a tiny bit of sapphire or something over the date window, but it's kind of reflective, or I don't know if there's a kind of glossy finish to the date wheel, but it does make it quite hard to see. If they would make this a stark white, like the hour markers and the hands, it would be much easier to see. The other thing is, the caseback is very bare. I guess some people would see that as a good thing, but it would be nice to have a little bit of text on the back, even if it's just the water resistance, because to be honest, I have no clue what the water resistance is. Overall, I think this is a really nice watch. I enjoy the power reserve and the small seconds. It's very legible. I know the size will put some people off, but this watch was £80, and I think for £80 it's a bargain. It doesn't feel cheap, it feels solid. You've got a fully stainless steel case, you've got a nice leather strap, open case back. The loom is fairly decent as well. Power reserve indicator, small seconds hand. You know, what more could you want? Maybe a signed crown would be nice. But again, that's just being picky. But yeah, for £80, I think this is a great watch, and if you're on the market for a large pilot style watch, then this should definitely be in your radar. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.